Hello students, in this lesson we will learn how to multiply powers. This is from lesson 3, which is multiply and divide monomials. This is part 1. We will learn how to multiply powers. First of all, let's take this example here. Let's assume that we are going to multiply 3 to the 5th times 3 to the 3rd. How can we calculate this? We can simply write each factor into its factors, into its components. So we can write 3 to the 5th. We can write it as 3 times 3, 5 times 3 times 3 times 3. And then we can write 3 to the 3rd as 3 times 3 times 3. Okay, from lesson 2 actually, how can we rewrite these factors into exponents? We can simply write the same base, which is here 3, and how many times this factor is repeated? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the factor 3 has repeated 8 times. So we write 3, the base, to the power of 8. Okay, let's see what happened now. 3 to the 5th times 3 to the 3rd equals 3 to the 8th. What can you conclude from this relation? How we calculate the multiplication of powers or monomials? Yes, exactly. It's gonna be the addition of exponents. If we have the same base as here, 3 times 3, it will give us the same base to the power of the addition of exponents. So it is the same as 3 to the power of 5 plus 3, which will be equal to 3 to the 8th power. Let's take another example. Let's assume that we need to calculate 2 to the 6th power times 2 to the 5th times 2 to the 3rd. The same process. If we need to multiply monomials, we just add the exponents. So we can write it 2 to the power of 6 plus 5 plus 3, which will give us 2 to the power of 14. Exactly. What about having variables into the brackets between the parentheses? So let's assume that we have 4x squared times 2x to the 3rd. How can we multiply these? We simply multiply numbers with numbers. Each factor with a similar factor. Numbers with numbers and variables with variables. So numbers with numbers and variables with variables. So we multiply 4 times 2, which will give us 8. And then we write x squared times x to the 3rd. We now just add the exponents. 2 plus 3. We can write x to the power of 2 plus 3. And this will be 8 times x to the 5th power. What about if we have negative numbers with variables? The same way, if we have minus 2 and a lot of variables, let's say that we have x times y squared, all of them times 3 x squared times y. So we have the rule that if we have a variable or a number without any exponent above it, we can simply conclude that this exponent will be 1. So it is x to the 1st power and this is y to the 1st power. So now how can we calculate this? Simply numbers with numbers and variables with the similar variables. x multiplied by x and y multiplied by y. So I can simply write it is negative 2 times 3 times x to the first power times x squared times y squared times y to the first power. And this will give us negative 2 times 3, negative 6, and x to the first times x squared will give us x to the third power times x squared times y to the first will give us y to the third power. Okay, this is how to multiply powers. If we have multiplication between the same base, we must have the same base. We cannot here multiply y with x. We cannot add the exponents because it is not the same base. So when we have the same base, we just add exponents. If we have the same base, a to the power of something, let's say 5 times a to the power of 6 as example, we just write the same base and add the exponents. We need two conditions. We need the base to be the same and a multiplication between them. If we have the same base and the multiplication, we just add exponents. That's it for today. Thank you very much.